Icecrown Citadel, one of the most memorable and menacing locations in all of Wrath of the Lich King. This is the stronghold of the undead Scourge, a fortress of ice, metal, and flame that shields the infamous Frozen Throne from the outside world. It is here where, in just a few months, the climactic final battle against the Lich King will unfold again in the timeline of classic WoW. But players are no stranger to this evil. They've been battling the Scourge all throughout Northrend, witnessing the tactics and horrors of the undead legions. One in particular stands out among them, the Necropolis. These floating citadels carry the undead throughout Northrend and beyond to spread their vile influence. While you may be familiar with a few of these strongholds, in this video we are going to uncover the Necropolis that almost nobody knows about, and yet could have played a terrifying role in the plans of the Scourge. Today, we are investigating the 9th Necropolis of the Lich King. Let's begin by covering the 8 other named necropoli of the Scourge forces. The most infamous is, of course, Naxxramas, an ancient Nerubian ziggurat raised to the surface by the Scourge and put to use as a base of operations. Though it once towered over the eastern Plaguelands, during Wrath of the Lich King, it can be found in eastern Dragonblight, besieging the Alliance forces there. Naxxramas is the only one of its kind. The following generations were designed by the Scourge architect Obrahim, who took inspiration from the Nerubians while condensing and polishing the structure. Death Knight players are most familiar with Ocarus, the Ebon Hold, the citadel for the Lich King's elite shock troopers. It can be found floating over the Scarlet Enclave during the Death Knight prologue storyline, and serves as a base for the renegade Scourge soldiers. It is said that not even Naxxramas could survive a direct assault by the Death Knight Sanctuary, making it perhaps the most powerful in the Scourge's arsenal, at least before they lost control of it. Players adventuring in Northrend can come across even more necropoli. In the Borean Tundra, one can find Naxanar and Talramas, and in the Empire of Zuldrak, Kolramas, Voltaris, and Zeramas deliver Scourge troops into the region. While these structures are intimidating, they are not indestructible, forcing the Scourge to reassess their engineering. As the war against the Lich King progresses and Icecrown Glacier becomes the battlefield against the undead, players can uncover the details about a mysterious structure called Malakris, the Vile Hold. During the quests in Icecrown, Malakris is revealed to be a new type of necropolis built of Saronite, a dark metal nearly impervious to harm. Luckily, it is still under construction, and you as the player are able to stop its creation before it can wreak havoc against the living. Those are all 8 of the existing named necropoli. So, where is this final 9th one hiding? To find out, we have to venture into the Frozen Halls, the auxiliary tunnels and areas of Icecrown Citadel. Fighting through the ominous Forge of Souls and the demoralizing Pit of Saron, players may arrive at the Halls of Reflection, the private chambers of the Lich King himself. While an ally from your faction is able to hold off Arthas for a short while, this adventure ends in disaster, with you having to escape the throne room down a hidden outside passage. Except, it's not. Taking a closer look reveals that we are not outside at all. We're in the bowels of the Citadel, in a massive glacial cavern so vast that even the architecture of the Lich King fades away into the ice. And not only that, but filling the chamber is a massive necropolis, one that is much, much closer to completion, with solid Saronite walls and who knows what sort of dark power held inside. The creepiest part of this whole design to me is that it's never talked about in the game, but thankfully it seems we're able to defeat Arthas before he can put this new Saronite necropolis into action. I looked around online and couldn't find any information about it other than it exists. But one rather creative commenter on Wowhead mentioned at the time that it would play a part in the climax of Icecrown Citadel, battling against the Alliance and Horde gunships on the way to the Frozen Throne. While this didn't end up happening in the real gunship battle, it's fun to speculate, especially since it has a unique model very different from the unfinished one outside the gates. My personal theory is that this was going to be the flagship of the new line of Necropoli that would be put to use after the Lich King's victory in Icecrown. Malachris was going to be the new base for the Loyalist Death Knights, so it makes sense more of these were going to be made for different divisions of the Scourge. Given its proximity to the Lich King's private sanctum and the secrecy around its construction, one could reasonably predict this was going to be the crown jewel of the fleet. WoW's version of a Death Star that could travel through the sky, corrupting civilizations with the blight of the undead. Maybe it's fitting it's tucked away in the halls of reflection, giving players a hint of what is to come if they fail to stop Arthas atop the Frozen Throne. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, may the Force be with you.